The other property, as I said before, for the colligative properties is the uh, osmotic pressure. What's happened in osmotic pressure for the uh, electrolyte solution? We said something about the change in the vapor pressure and the melting point and elevation in the boiling point when the solvent and the solute are present together due to different in the partial pressure of both of the materials. Meanwhile, the osmotic pressure also, which is defined as the passage of the solvent into a solution through a semi-permeable membrane. This process tends to equalize the escaping tendency of the solvent on the both sides of the membrane. Escaping tendency can be measured in terms of vapor pressure or the closely related colligative property of the osmotic pressure. The process of this osmosis due to the pressure in some cases is believed to be involved in the passage of the solvent through the membrane by distillation process or by a dissolving in the material of the membrane in which the solute is insoluble. In other cases, the membrane may act as a sieve like a sieve منخل معناها هنا, having a pore size sufficiently large to allow passage of the solvent but not for the solute molecules. In either case, the phenomena of osmosis depends on the fact that the chemical potential of the thermodynamic expression of the escaping tendency of the solvent molecule in the solution is less than that exists in the pure solvent. So, solvent therefore passes spontaneously into the solution until the chemical potentials of the solvent and the solution are equal. The system is seen to be at equilibrium. In the osmosis process, and according to the Van 't Hoff theory of the osmotic pressure, at which the osmotic pressure is directly proportion with the volume at which the partial pressure is expressed in terms of the solute. And in this case, the apparent between solution and gases due to the osmosis that the osmotic pressure in a dilute solution was equal to the pressure that the solute multiplied by the gas escaping tendency volume. In this case, the volume is very important, meanwhile, for the partial pressure applied for the solution, where pi here is the osmotic pressure, pi is the osmotic pressure in atom, and V is the volume of the solution in liters. Meanwhile, the moles, N is the number of moles, and R is the gas constant, and V is the change in the temperature. Looking for this equation, R here is the gas constant, and it's equal to the 0.082 liter atom mole per mole degree centigrade. And in this case, the ionic equilibrium between the solvent and the final solution, when present both of them in escaping of the solvent from one side to another to reach a certain point at which an equilibrium is achieved, is called ionic equilibrium. Ionic equilibrium is another term which is defined that substances of the hydrogen or base as a substance that applies hydroxyl ion and the proton ion. According to the Bronsted theory, كلكم تعرفون هناك نظريتين for the acidity and the basicity of the solution. هذا مهم جدا لأنه راح ندخل في موضوع نسميه ال meaning of the acidity and basicity according to the final pH of the solution. Final pH of the solution. Bronsted discuss the theory of acid or a base that is a compound or material or matter consists of either proton and in this case say to be an acid or hydroxyl and in this case said to be an base. According to the Bronsted theory, an acid is a substance charged or uncharged that capable of donating a proton. هذا مفهومه. والبيز هي أيضا المادة اللي هي قابلة، قد تكون هي متأينة أو مشحونة، عندها شحنة أو ما عندها شحنة، قابلة لأن تقبل هذا البروتون or what is called عندها قابلية أن تسحب البروتون من خلال النيجاتيف تشارج الموجودة عليها. Strength of an acid or a base varies with the solvent, like hydrochloric acid is a strong acid, or weak acid like a glacial acetic acid, while weak base like ammonia, or strong base like NaOH is the strength of an acid depends on not only on the ability to give a proton but on also the ability of the solvent to accept the proton from this acid. This is called basic strength or of the solvent. In the Bronsted theory, according to this theory, the change in the According to the Bronsted theory, the change in the acidity or basicity is definitely depend on how much of the proton present in the system or how much the hydroxyl ion that accept the proton in the system. And in this case, ammonia, acetate, HSO4 minus, ammonium, all these are material have ability to accept or what is called the donate the electron or proton in the system. هذا فيما يخص البرونشتد. يعني برونشتد هو قال انه المادة الحامضية هي اللي تحوي بروتون، والمادة القاعدية هي اللي تقبل هذا البروتون بالسيستم هذا أو تحتوي الهيدروكسيل. بعدين اجى لويس فسر انه قال هاي الحوامض والقواعد لا تعني وجود البروتون وهيدروكسيل فقط، هناك بعض المواد وخصوصا بالاورجانيك كومباوندز ما عندها لا بروتون ولا عندها هيدروكسيل بس تتصرف كحامض وكقاعدة. فقال لويس يعني طور النظرية مالته according to this، قال انه المادة الحامضية هي المادة اللي يصير عندها تقبل يعني بها بوزيتيف ايون، تقبل اي unshare pair of electron موجودة في اي مكان اخر في المولكيول المقابلة. يعني الانشير بير اوف الكترون تمثل لي البيسيسيتي، يعني النيتروجين مثلا، الاكسجين، كلهم يحتوون على انشير بير اوف الكترون. هالانشير بير اوف الكترون يمثلوا لي البيسيسيتي اوف ذا مولكيول. هاي البيسيسيتي اوف ذا مولكيول بالمقابل هناك مواد اخرى عندها lack of electron، عندها نقص بالالكترون like carbonyl like ammonium NH4 positive or carbonyl positive. هاي المواد هذه عندها قابلية أن تقبل الانشير بير اوف الكترونز الموجودة بالجهة المقابلة. إذا أصبح عندي مفهوم الأسيد والبيز هو ليس بوجود البروتون والهيدروكسيل، لا، وإنما وجود الانشير pair of electron or lack of electrons in the molecule or ion. And this said to be Lewis theory. So, according to the Lewis theory, an acid is a molecule or an ion that accepts the electron pair of uh, to form a covalent bond اللي موجودة على البيز. والبيز هي المادة اللي كانت provide a pair of and share pair of electron by which the base coordinate with an acid. And certain compounds such as boron, trifluoride and aluminum chloride, although not containing hydrogen and consequently not serves as a proton donors, are nevertheless acid in this scheme. And many substances that do not contain hydroxyl, including amine, ethers, and high carboxylic acid anhydride, are classified to be as a good basis for this definition, or what is called Lewis definition. looking for. شوفوا هنا الاسيد بيز equilibrium. شوفوا هنا الاسيتيك اسيد كاسيد يتأين بالمي وخالين بيناتهم بين الرياكتنت والبرودكت اسهم equilibrium. يعطيني الامونيوم الهيدرونيوم ايون والاسيتيت ايون كconjugated اسيد وconjugated بيز مقابله. فلذلك الرياكشن هذا الار اف rate of the reaction forward RF means the forward reaction هو يساوي لي ثابت في تركيز ايون البرودكت multiply by the التركيز ايون السولفنت الموجود اللي هو الووتر. مفهوم البي اتش هو شنو؟ البي اتش هي الحامضيه لاي solution or solvent. هاي البي اتش equal to the minus logarithm hydrogen ion concentration. كلكم تعرفون الووتر اللي هو يعتبر an neutral solvent يحتوي على الهيدرونيوم ايون والهيدروكسيل ايون. الهيدرونيوم ايون يمثل لي البوزيتيف تشارج والهيدروكسيل ايون يمثل لي النيجاتيف تشارج for two molecule of water ionization. So the pH is equal to the minus log hydronium ion concentration, and this concentration is equal to the 10 to minus 7 for both hydronium ion and for the hydroxyl ion. And the total multiplication by these two equal يعني multiplication by H3 hydronium ion في الهيدروكسيل ion equal to 10 to minus 14 as a molar.